We'll cut that bit.
Hey everybody, it's Pat Jones, and our tour of England continues with Effingham Golf Club, and here's Jon Budd, the head greenkeeper. How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you finally too. You know, I think we know each other a little bit from Twitter and social media. So is that something that you've adopted because you wanted to be able to communicate more with your colleagues, with your members? What's been the best thing about social media for you?
I think social media is definitely the way forward. Everybody's on it now. Even the older people use it. They probably use it more than the younger people. But
like me, I'm old.
I think it's a great way of getting across what we're doing, what we're trying to do. There's many platforms, of course, with it. Of course, as you said, the Twitter, the Facebook, the YouTube, which I do now. I do the YouTube channel, which has been received very positively with members.
Tell me about that. How are you using YouTube to educate your members about what's going on here at Effingham?
So one thing you have problems as a course manager, you only ever see on your membership maybe for a little caption time. They're walking down, and they ask a question and you can't fully answer it. The great thing about YouTube is you can summarize a month's worth of work in a 5-10 minute video. You can tell the members what you've done and what you're planning on doing. You can explain what you're doing, and they just get it then. You know, all those questions in the bar, why they're doing this, why they're doing that. Once it's explained to them, you can then put a bit of agronomy onto them, just to let them know that it's quite serious what we do. It doesn't happen. And it's, I say, at Effingham, it's been received very well. So it's been a good educational piece.
And that's the key thing is, and you're emailing these directly to members so that they can look at them. I think that's something that people miss sometimes, thinking, oh, well, I do social media. Direct communication to members is always better. So
if when I do a video, it goes onto a link on the club website, so everybody will get the link. There's a certain amount of members are now signed up, so they get it directly to them. If we're doing any projects coming up, any specific projects coming up, you can do a video on it. You can explain what we're doing. It explains why people are out on the golf course. You know, who's that? Whatever. So it's a great tool, and it's a tool that should be used a lot more, I believe, in our industry.
I agree, and thanks for being a leader on that. So you have a unique challenge here because you're trying to manage a pretty rangy operation on about this much soil because you're sitting on top of a giant deposit of chalk. So tell us about the challenges of managing a golf course that's largely built on the bodies of millions and trillions of old dead animals.
So it's a downland. We're known as a downland. South of England's renowned for it. Northern France got a bit. Across to America's got a little bit, but predominantly South England. So we have the South Downs and we have the North Downs. We're currently up on the North Downs, and you're absolutely right. We don't have much profile of soil, but we are on 600 foot of chalk on average. Incredibly free drainage. You can wear trainers here all year round, basically. The only downside we do have, we're up high, we face north, so we do tend to get weather. If it's going to snow, we do tend to get a bit more snow than anybody else. But other than that, the free drainage soil is fantastic. But what comes with that is low fertility. So it's very difficult to grow things. You might not see it from the pictures now, everything's doing very well, but everything's much slower to grow. So putting turf down is a no-no for us because our fertility soils are so bad, low fertilities, that bringing in turf doesn't last, so we have to seed. Seeding, we're really into the fescue window. This is naturally what the seed is here anyway. We're predominantly fescue, and it takes time to establish, and it's a learning curve. It's something you just don't pick up. I came from a very wet golf course to a very dry golf course, and there is a learning curve, and 15 years here now, and I'm still learning. So
but you've been able to compress your nitrogen down to a relatively small amount. How have you done that?
It's almost weaning it off each year, taking it down. There's been some years I've went too low, I admit it, but you need to go low to find out how far you can push it, and you can bring it back. Grass is incredibly resilient. You can bully grass around. We've seen that this year with the drought. You know, it bounces back. Everybody thinks it's doom and gloom. We're never going to see it again. You know, so I've experimented a lot of different products over the years, and I've pushed the greens down to 60 Ks of nitrogen and had to recover them back at 120 Ks of nitrogen. I'm now in a happy medium of about 80 Ks. We're seeing a very gentle species change on the greens now, trying to come away from the POA and trying to get the fescues back in. It's not an easy. Any guy out there who's done it, I know some guys very successfully have done it. I've been following a guy on Twitter, and he's done very well with it. But it's a process, and you have to stick with it. But your inputs of your nitrogen, the products you're putting on, absolutely at the top of the tree.
Right.
Getting them right, you get them right, and then you've got a sporting chance.
So describe your overall agronomic philosophy here, because it's a very unique sort of situation. So agronomically, what's first and foremost in your mind, kind of every year when you're beginning the season?
Well, one thing you do, what we're finding now, unless you're very lucky as a course manager to take on a golf course in great condition, following a great guy who knew exactly what he was doing.
Who handed you the keys as they were leaving, right?
He's left you. Some of us are picking up golf courses, and this one as well. A lot of damage done over the years, and this isn't bad greenkeeping, by the way. This was the thinking back then.
Yeah,
we were putting on peaty soils, which have come back and haunted us. Fertility rates were very high, nitrogen rates very high. We've now learned over the years, the science is there now. We're a lot more educated. So we're having to, first of all, go backwards. We need to undo all this bad greenkeeping to move us forwards. So, you know, the first three things you're ever going to learn at college: aeration, aeration, aeration. It's never going to go away. You can't get enough aeration going on.
Yep.
We've then been changing the soil profile of the greens over the years, constantly using the same sand. 200 tonnes on average a year. We can start coming off that now. We've built up a very good profile of sand now with aeration. We have an aeration program every week. We have a sanding program every week.
Pulling cores?
Pulling cores to a point.
Yeah.
We're now not pulling cores as much as we were, because we've actually got a very good root zone profile. All we're doing now, if we're pulling cores now, we're just throwing them away and putting in inert fresh sand. Doesn't seem right.
So
we're now down to solid tining.
Solid tines, right.
Solid tining. We've got our organic levels very controllable now. We're down to the 3% on average, which is where you want to be. We do creep up, we do creep down depending on weather conditions of that year. But we are there. So we do a verticut program every fortnight. That's the hardware side of it. So regular top dressing, regular coring or solid tining, regular verticutting. Then we're on to our products which we apply, which work in hand. Now we've changed the profile of the soil to a lot sandier profile. Of course, we need to rethink what we're putting on. This goes back to quality products. There's a lot out there. There's a lot of very good products out there on the market, and they all do fantastically in the right spot.
So we can't afford everything.
Can't afford everything. No, that would just be lovely to have a budget where I could just get whatever I wanted. But that's not realistic. You know, we've got to think about how we're spending money now. The budgets aren't there like they used to be, and they won't be there in the future. So we've got to get bang for buck. The products we are buying, they've got to be giving us 110%. You know, and you can only know that by monitoring it. You've got to know your greens. You've got to see if they're responding to them. You've got to see if they're moving on as well. So
and consistency, and trying to find things that are going to establish consistency, green to green, from week to week, month to month. What have you found that's helped you achieve that?
I think over the years now, starting to consolidate down the people I deal with to the people who are offering me the right products has really helped. Instead of buying a bit here and a bit there off everybody, getting onto a program has definitely helped. Bit of a cliche, all programs are just selling stuff. Yes and no. If you're buying the right products, a program works. If you're getting advice from the right people who understand their products, if you're getting your greens tested and you're working on that testing, there's not a greenkeeper out there who can tell me what his greens need without testing. I can assure you. You need to be sending cores off regular, and the feedback of those cores, then you can start building up a program with whoever the guy you're buying.
So first things first, get the science right.
Get the science right.
And then try to work with people that you have a relationship with, who understand what your needs.
As I said, 2021 wasn't a good shot because we had a lot of rain. It was a wet summer. This year has been an incredible summer for greenkeeping. It's the first time we've been in total control of our golf courses.
And you put it that way, and that's fascinating because the lack of water gave you control over your water.
So products, water. Once you can control your moisture levels. So we moisture read every week, even more so when we're in drought conditions. We have a very good irrigation system. We're blessed with that. The Rainbird system, controlled from my phone. I can go out there. We can spot water with pop-ups if we need to. So we keep our greens almost at a constant moisture level.
So you're checking soil moisture on greens and follow
Daily, almost daily in a drought.
Yep.
And we're keeping those moisture levels across the greens from about 15% to about 19%.
Right.
Once we've got that moisture level in control, then what we're putting on top as feeds, we're in control of that as well.
Yeah.
And then we're seeing what the longevity is of these, because we know when they're tapering off. And then we use the soil amendments as well.
Yep.
So we're building up a nice profile of amino acids in there. We all know now the benefits of amino acids. We're all understanding it more. We've also got to start thinking about sustainability.
I was going to ask you about that. So how does this fit into a long-term approach to sustainability? Because you're known for that here in the UK.
I've managed to, this goes back to your social media as well.
Yeah.
Sustainability. It's not a mystery anymore. We all know we've got to start looking after the planet. That's not rocket science. And we can all do our little bit.
Yep.
Golf courses always had a bad rep for what we did, and I think that was unfair. I think a lot of greenkeepers were very aware of their environment. So when I'm buying products, I also have to look at the sourcing of them, packaging of them.
Yeah.
You know, it goes down to that for us. Sustainability there's lots of boxes. The clubhouse has a right to sustainability. They've got their own problems they've got to face now.
Yes,
as greenkeepers, we got it. How do we use water? Do we harvest water? How do we use products? Are we getting bang for buck out of products? So we need to be using quality products as well that can stick around in the soil. And I'm finding that with Aquatrols on all levels we've used. So we've achieved a consistency in our greens this year. The feedback from the members is fantastic.
So important.
And it's getting better and better. So we're not doing the peaks and troughs now.
Yeah.
We're getting the greens up, we're getting the speeds up, we're getting the quality up, and we're maintaining that for the season. And we're stretching it now. We're in October now, middle of October. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's about 17 degrees and the sun's shining. I'm growing more grass in October than I did in the spring.
It's great here.
So,
well, I'm glad for you, but final thought though, as you move forward on this sustainable course, do you feel good about where golf is going and where greenkeeping is going in the UK?
I think so. As being part of the Ecology Awards and being the Pollinator of the Year in 2021, I was very proud of, and the course the whole club was very proud of. It's these little awards now and the pushing from these other industries that's moving greenkeeping on. I think greenkeepers are a lot more advanced than the golfers are. The golfers are here just to hit the ball, and as long as they're hitting the ball,
you have to force their eyes open and remind them we're doing these things.
And you've got to tell them we're going to be doing this, we're going to be doing that. We're letting grasses grow up. We're not going to be cutting rough wall to wall. We haven't got the diesel to burn. You've got that environment issue on that. So these golf courses have got to become a lot more sustainable themselves. And as I said, there's loads of ways. Stop cutting so much grass. Let grasses come up. Think about your water use. Use your moisture meter a lot more.
Right.
Your products you're putting on. If you get that bit right, you might not need to use so many products.
Yeah, I agree.
As well.
I agree.
And that takes your carbon footprint down. So there's lots of things you can do. I mean, the internet is full of it. And
that's going to be my final thought is if you're looking for somebody to follow, to learn about sustainability and to learn about thoughtful greenkeeping, follow Jon, okay? Thank you so much for your time. I can't believe we finally got to meet you.
There we go.
And good luck. So stay tuned and we'll be back for more with our tour of England.